Hello, how do I fill out Form 941 if no wages were paid in 2025 quarter 3? So Form 941 is a quarterly form, and if you have not filed it for quarter 2, you can just go to irs.gov and you tap it in the search bar and press enter to open it, and it's good to save it, the PDF, and save the instruction, a PDF as well, so that you can read through it and highlight things that you find important to remember. So if you have now pay any wages in quarter 3 and you are required to file Form 941, we have a form here. So you'll open the form and you'll enter your business EIN number. You'll enter your business legal name. Is the name that you put in the on the EIN application form. So it'll be good to have your business EIN legal name in your file so that you can use it. If your business has a DBA, you will enter your DBA. If you do not have a DBA, you just leave that section blank. You'll put your business address as well, and then which quarter are you filing for? Since we are filing for quarter 3, you will check quarter 3. So if you file for quarter 2, you didn't have any you didn't pay any wages, the form you completed, you can save yourself time by opening that form and just change quarter 2, remove the check from quarter 2 and put it in quarter 3. Because if you didn't pay any wages in quarter 2, the form is going to be about the same. So nothing changed between quarter 2 and quarter 3. You will just review your form and make sure everything is still accurate, and you make sure you check quarter 3. This form is for 1 quarter. Therefore, if your business has been around since the beginning of January, you are expected to submit 4 forms 941 for 2025, and the last one will be quarter 4 due January 31st, and quarter 3 is due by the end of October. So you will check quarter 3. So Form 941, and by the way, the form is called Employer Quarterly Federal Tax Return. I like to call it payroll tax return, a quarterly payroll, employer payroll tax return, but that's pretty much what that is. So part 1 of Form 941, line 1. So there are few lines that you will enter 0 on, because again, we assume you didn't pay any wages. So you are not going to just leave the form blank. There are specific lines that you are required to actually put 0. One of those lines is 1. You have line 2 as well, and you have line 12. So those 3 lines, IRS recommends that you actually enter 0 there. The rest you leave it blank. So let's go through it one by one. So line 1 is just asking you how many employees that you pay during that specific quarter that you are filing for, which is July, August, September quarter. So since you didn't pay any wages, it's going to be 0 employees. Even if it's just you working in your business, you know, a S corp or LLC tax as an S corp, and you didn't pay yourself anything, it's going to be 0 employee. So line 2, how much did you pay those people that you claim to have? On line 1 is 0, so you'll put 0 and 0 0 for the decimal side. Line 3, how much federal income tax withheld from those wages you pay those people. So it's going to be blank. You didn't pay any wages, therefore you didn't withhold anything from those wages, so it's going to be blank. So line 4 is asking if you didn't pay any wages that are subject to Social Security and Medicaid tax, to just check that box so that you can leave line 5 blank and go to line 6. So we check line 4 box and we go to line 6. So line 6 is asking, is there an adjustment before tax? That usually is due to line 6 is asking you to total those taxes that you claim of withholding or paying from those wages. So that include line 3, tax withheld, line 5, Social Security and Medicaid, with those will total to line 5E. So it's asking you to take line 3 and line 5E, and if there is anything on line 5F, to total those and put on line 6. So since we don't have anything on those lines 3 and 5, it's going to be 0 for line 6, so you leave it blank. Line 7, 8, 9 are adjustments, and some of them are fractions adjustment between what is actually withheld and the calculations that is going on here. But since you didn't pay any wages and you didn't withhold any tax or pay any Social Security or Medicaid tax, your line 7, 8, 9 will be 0, or if it is 0, they are 0, you just leave them blank. You'll go to line 10. Line 10 is total tax after adjustment. It's going to take line 6 plus 7, 8, 9. It's going to be 0. Therefore, you leave it blank. So line 11 is a tax credit. If you think your business might be qualified for something like that, you can read the instructions that I recommended you download and save about it. But again, here we are going to assume you do not have any credit to claim, and we leave it blank. So there is a form that needs to be filed and attached to it if such credit is claimed on the form. So line 12 is total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credits, and I believe line 11 will be a non-refundable credit. So that just means if you claim it, if you have some credit like that, but you don't have any liability here to compare it with, any excess credit may not be refunded to you. So line 12 is taking line 10 minus line 11. So that is total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. It will give you line 12. If line 12 is 0, you'll actually put 0, 0, 0 there, and that's what we did here. So that is your tax liability. Your tax liability, your payroll tax is form 941, line 12. So and that is the tax you owe IRS. And if you make any deposits, you'll compare that deposit to the tax liability to see if you made more deposits, or if you made less, or if you made the same amount of deposits, to see if you owe any tax, or if they owe you a refund, or if the difference between the two, what you deposited and what the tax liability is 0. So line 12 is your total tax liability. Here is 0. Line 13 is your total deposit, and deposit here is your payroll tax deposited, like the federal income tax withheld on line 3, the Social Security withheld from the employee's salary, your business contribution to that Social Security tax, your business contribution to Medicaid tax, the portion you withheld from the employee income as well, Medicaid tax wise, and you deposited those to IRS. That is what you need to put on line 13. Is about those taxes that you withheld or your business pay that you deposited in your business account, on IRS website. That is what you are writing down here on line 13 for this quarter that you are filing. What you deposited for this quarter with IRS is what you are putting on line 13. And if there is any refund from prior quarter that you ask them not to refund you but to keep so that you can apply it to the next quarter, yeah, it is free to add it to this line 13 as well. So line 14 is going to compare line 12 and line 13 and do a subtraction between the two. If your total liability is more than your total deposit for the quarter, you owe tax. If your total liability on line 12 is less than what you deposited during the quarter to IRS, IRS owe you money, a refund. But since we assume you didn't make any deposit because, again, you didn't pay any wages to withhold tax or for your business to pay Social Security or Medicaid tax on it, line 13 is 0. Therefore, line 14, which is line 12 minus line 13, is going to be 0, is going to remain blank as well. So line 15 is overpayment. So here is just, so if your line 12 total tax liability for the quarter is more than what you deposited against it, you owe money to IRS. That difference is going to be on line 14. If your total liability on line 12 is less than your deposit on line 13, IRS owe you a refund. You will put that on line 15. And then you will decide if you want them to send you a refund. You check that box, or you'll decide if you want them to keep it so that you can apply it to the next quarter. And that's why this line 13 for the next quarter, you'll remember to include the refund that you didn't take to any deposits for that quarter that you made to have the total. That's why they have that overpayment here for the previous quarter there. In case there is an overpayment in quarter 2 that you didn't take, you can add it to quarter 3 deposit and total them there. But again, no wages, no taxes, no deposit. We leave line 13 blank, assuming it's 0. So because 0 minus 0 is 0, we are going to leave line 14 blank, line 15 blank, and you do not check any box here. So that is Form 941, page 1 completed. Now we'll go to page 2, and on page 2, you'll remember to put your business legal name that you have on the first page. You'll enter it. You'll enter your business identification number as well. You just want to make sure every single pages that you are going to submit has your business legal name and your business identification number on it. So part 2 wanted to know about if you have tax liability if you made your deposits on time. So line 16, you check that box if your total your line 12 is less than 2,500. Our line 12 is 0, so we are going to check line 16, and then you just leave the other 2 alone. We'll go to part 3. So part 3, if your business is closed or stop paying wages, you will check that box, and then you will enter when your business closed or when you pay wages the last time. But then you'll attach a document to it to specify certain things, and it's good to go to the instructions to look for when you are completing the form and there is a section that you do not understand. You come back to the instruction that you save, to scroll through it, to go to that specific area on the form and read about it. So if your business, let's see if they talk about it somewhere here. So they will specify things that you will need to say, you will need to attach. And if we go a little higher up to page 5, they will pretty much guide you, give you information on things that you need to include in the documents if your business closed. We are not going to dwell on it too much, but yes, the information that needs to be on the attachment, your business EIN, your business name, and pretty much the details related to it, and they should have information there for you. They pretty much wanted to know if they have a question, how will they find you? So they want to know where those financial documents will be kept, the address related to it when you close and things like that. And you wanted to keep those as long as way past the minimum duration that they ask for it. So, but that is line 17. Otherwise, just leave that line blank. We are just going to leave it blank. So if you are a seasonal employer, you will check that box, and that just means you are telling IRS that some part of the year you employ people, some part of the year you don't. Therefore, for the part of the year that you employ people, you will file this form 941 for those quarters, and for the quarters that you do not employ people, you are not going to file this form. Therefore, they are not going to be expecting form from you if there is a quarter you didn't file for. But each time you are filing this form for a specific quarter, it is important you check this box to remind them that you are a seasonal employer. You do not file 4 forms for an entire year, because there are some part of the year you do not have employees. If it's just you in your business and you are required, because you have an LLC tax as an S corp, but you do not have employees yet, it is just you working in your business and you are not paying yourself yet, you might just leave that box alone, and therefore you file this form on a quarterly basis. You just put it on your schedule to remember to file it, and file a zero tax form. That's an option. If you want to know if you are qualified to be a seasonal employer, and again related to line 17, they have more information as well that you can read about it. Pretty much what I'm talking about, the attachment should have, they have information on it, and they should talk about when you must file this form. But if depending on how you complete your EIN form, anticipating that sometimes in the future you'll have employees and you estimate how much you will be having as a tax liability and when you approve an EIN number, the list of the tax form required from you, Form 941 is one of them, then you are supposed to file it, even if you do not have employees yet, or you are the only one in your LLC tax as an S corp. Therefore, you are an employee, but you are not collecting any wages. You'll file a zero tax form 941. But again, you have those instructions just in case you were not required to file it to begin with because you didn't think you'd have employee. When you were applying for your EIN and all of a sudden you start hiring people, as soon as you start paying people, by default you will be filing this form and you should be making deposits. So you can read about it as well, but we can go back to, I don't know if it was line, let's just guess it here. Seasonal employer section here, and what qualify as a seasonal employer, they might have information here for you. So if you think you are a seasonal employer, you have that option to check that box. So part 4, I think maybe speak with a third party. I just like to say no. If they have something to us, they can just come to you yourself. So therefore, I like to just put no. But again, feel free to choose. If you are a tax preparer filing for a client and the client want you to discuss this return with IRS and give you that permission, you can check yes, and then you'll put who to contact and the phone number. But just know that this session is specifically for this form only, and the PIN and so forth. That way, when IRS wants you to answer a question, they will come to you. Otherwise, if you are filing for yourself, I just like to put no, because after all, if you are signing the form, you are going to have your name, your title, and your phone number on part 4 for IRS to contact you. If you are a tax preparer, it is the business owner that is going to sign the document. That business owner's name should be on part 4 this session, and the title of that business owner and the business owner's phone number. As a tax preparer, you will complete tax preparer use only session with your information, your P10, your EIN, phone number, and zip, pretty much your address here. And if you are self-employed, you check that box, otherwise you leave it blank. But if you are filing for your own business, you do not complete this pay preparer use only session. If somebody in your business is filing it for you, you ask one of your staff members to file the form for you. You are not paying them to file the form. Therefore, they should not complete this session either. So, but that is that. And that is how you complete Form 941 if you didn't pay wages in quarter 3. And we are filing this form for quarter 3. But that's the same way you'll file it for every single quarters of the year. And you just make sure you check the right quarter it is for. I don't know if I'll record a video for quarter 4, and that's why I'm insisting on this. The principle is going to be the same for quarter 4. If you didn't pay wages, you just make sure you check the right quarter then. So now that you are done completing your form 941, there is a voucher at the bottom that you do not need to complete, because again, you do not owe any money on line 14. So therefore, you are not going to complete the voucher. You don't even need to print it out. Form 941 is 3 pages. The third page is for the voucher. You just need to print the page 1 and 2 out and sign it, make a copy for your business to keep, and then staple those page 1 and 2, and you put it in an envelope to mail. So we are going to leave this voucher blank. But again, if there is a money on line 14, then that is when you are going to put your business EIN, the amount on line 14 that you are going to pay, your business name, address, and which quarter. And in this instance, is going to be quarter 3. And this voucher, when you print those 3 pages out, you will cut this voucher out. You will staple page 1 and 2 of this form 941. The voucher page will be by itself, and you'll have a check written based on the instructions they gave on this page 3. You'll have that check, the voucher, so the check, the voucher, and then the form. That will be 3 things that you are going to have in the envelope to mail. But again, we are talking about no wages paid. Therefore, you do not owe any tax, and that is what this section is about. So now that you are done completing part 1 and part 2, if you are a tax preparer, you will make 3 copies. 2 copies in addition to the original one that you printed out. So the owner will sign when you print the original one out. You will sign as well, and then you make 2 copies. One for yourself to keep for your business record purposes, one to give to the business owner to keep for the business owner's record purposes, and the original one to be mailed to IRS. So where do you mail your Form 941 if no voucher will be added to it? So that means no amount is owed and will be paid with Form 941. So you'll go to the instructions, page, I believe 7, where should you file, and they have the address. So without a payment will be your situation. So you want that column 2. They have 3 columns. So you want to stay within column 2 and look for where your state is located. For instance, we are in Iowa. Therefore, we are in column 1. We locate Iowa on row 2, and the address on that row is where the form will be mailed to. If you live in any state within, at least say on row 2, you'll be mailing your form to the address on that row without a payment. If your state is within any state on row 1, then you will mail your form 0 tax owed. Therefore, no payment will be included in that envelope with the Form 941. You will mail your Form 941, those 2 pages, to the address listed without a payment, colon on for row 1, if you have your state listed there, and pretty much, so forth. So you are supposed to mail those, and I will recommend you mail it via USPS, and you have a tracking number. I think it's like a green tag or something like that they will give you. It's a little bit more pricier, but you mail it to have that tracking number that you can look it up online later if you want to see if the return was actually deposited by IRS, by the post office. So you want to have that slip, your receipt from the post office, and you can just staple it to your form that you make a copy to have in your business record. That's where you have everything together. So, and that way, if you are questioned later that you receive something in the mail later, the IRS said they didn't receive your form on time, or they didn't receive it, or something like that, you have a proof that you mail it, and USPS say that it was deposited as well. So you have those, even though you pay extra. If you are doing a paper route ways, I think it's worth it paying the extra to to have that proof that you mail it on time. There is an option to file this online as well, and I believe IRS website has the list of those companies that you can file through, so that you can, it's faster. It might just cost you a little more than the post office, but if you are filing it early enough, that will be an option as well. So I'm looking for when it is due, and it is due, the quarter 3 one is due by October 30th. But let's see if we'll be able to find that information. So when to file, they have that, and if the post stamp is made by that due date, IRS will consider you filing it on time. But let's double check that. But there could be instances that if you file it that late and IRS receive it late, there is that instances that they may not check the post stamp to see if it was, see if we receive the form after the due date, we will treat this file on time if the envelope containing the form is properly addressed, contains sufficient postage, and postmarked by the USPS on or before the due date. Yes, but there could be instances that they could approach you and say that, oh, you didn't mail this on time, and try to charge you a penalty. And then you have to call to explain it to them that you file on time and you file it by due date. So if it never happened before, they might forgive that and say it's just one-time forgiveness. If it happen again, there could be a penalty. Or another option will be to send them information to prove that you mail it on time. And that's when those slips will come handy. So just trying to file it on time and have your things properly filed, so that if you have to prove something to them that you filed on time, you have those things, because they have it in their instructions. But people working there, I don't know if they receive something late, if they don't take the time to check the envelope before they discard the envelope and keep the document itself. I'm not sure, because by the time they will contact you by mail and you'll be calling them, I think they don't have any envelope to look for. So because they shouldn't be emailing you if they look at the post stamp and it shows that you mail it before the due date. But if they are mailing you asking for charging you a penalty, chances are they didn't make that, they didn't check when it was mailed on the envelope, and they may not have the envelope to attest, to confirm what you are saying to them. So they will ask you to prove it, or they will apply that one-time forgiveness to you. So, but just try to file it on time so that you don't have to be dealing with those things. And it is quarter 3 is due by October 31st. Thank you so much for your time. So for more of, we do have a free download just in case you start paying payroll. We have a worksheet on our website that you can download for free and updated to your liking to track your payroll as well. And for more of tax related videos that we share tips on, do you mind checking our playlist on our channel for any topic that you are interested in? And as a disclaimer, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer. I have business degree and I have businesses that I file taxes for. I have previous tax preparation experience, but I don't work for a company filing tax anymore. I have my own business with the idea of providing that service, preparing taxes for companies and taxpayers, but I don't do it. I just don't want to file somebody's tax. I prefer to share with people my knowledge to help them file their own tax return. So use my information at your own discretion. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for your comments. And thank you for subscribing to our channel. I'm Afiavi Liberman, Curious of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, and ninasoap.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways you can save money and different ways you can make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And filing your own business tax return is one way to save money. I file our own businesses tax returns, and I file our own 1040, so I know that we do save money. Of course, I have tax preparation working experience, so and then I created a business, with the idea of filing tax return for people. Even though I'm not doing it for people, I'm doing it for myself. So my business are my clients that I'm filing for. And I just like to share with you ways that you can file for your own, especially if you just start out your business is young and you want to keep your business expenses low. That's one way you can do it. Start filing it for yourself, and it allows you to know the different information that needs to go on the return. Therefore, how you should be tracking those information as you are generating those data, those expenses, those charges, those incomes. You know how you should be tracking those. That way, when you need that information for tax purposes, you have it. And later, when you want to delegate that task to somebody outside of your business using a tax professional, you already have a way to track those financial data that you share with that tax professional, for them to be able to file the return for you accurately. Because after all, you are going to sign the document acknowledging the accuracy of the information. So if it's not accurate, IRS will come to you about the information, because again, you are responsible for the tax return filed on your behalf. So it is your responsibility to make sure it is filed properly as well. So you are learning way more than just filing your own tax. You are learning to know what needs to be filed, how it should be filed. If you are not filing it yourself, well, somebody is filing it for you, you'll have a report to read. You'll have to go through that tax return to acknowledge the accuracy of it before you sign it. So thank you so much for your time.